Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just not listening. Anyhow,
I
anyhow,
guess.
we'll get started. This is the Sunday night webinar, May 5th, and you have the number there and everything, and we're glad you're here. I'm Gene Colbago, and
I am Roger Carroll.
yeah, and before we start, I want to remind you that in 2 weeks from tonight, Mr. Laurie is going to be with us. He said he wanted to do maybe a quick sum up of the year, and then but wanted to talk about what's coming. And so that should be a really interesting, talk. So if you're available, we really, really would like to
Yeah,
see you
there's
and
a
pass the,
whole lot going on this summer.
yeah, oh yeah, and pass the word around. So everybody can get in. Anyhow, so let's get started. I'm going to end this, and I'm going to end this. And where am I going to do? Oh my golly, I got so much junk. I've got my screen all. Hey, before we start, this is my my cheat sheet for tonight. It's the one with the sites and so forth that I use, and I'm going to post that on the recordings page on the Teacher Resource Center if you need it. So you certainly can go there and get it. But two things I've noticed that have been added into my Office 365 that I thought were kind of interesting. They're not major things, but they seem to be coming down the road. And they're both up here. The first one is you can hardly see it up here. It's a little like a little microphone. And if you click on it, it will tell you what's coming soon to Office 365. I guess they're starting to advertise. And the one thing that is coming soon is up in the search box. They're redoing this. And I was hoping to be able to show you because it says I could try it. I've turned it on, but apparently it hasn't been made functional yet or whatever because I don't have it. But I don't know if this is on other Office 365s or not, but that's something that they're adding in. Okay, another thing they've added in over on the right, and I'm moving things around so I can see, uh, there is a little smiley face, and that's a feedback. They're asking for feedback about things that they have done and you liked, or things that they have done and you didn't like, or if you have a suggestion for an improvement or a new feature or something like that. And I thought, that's not a bad idea. Maybe they'll get some good ideas. I know that many times we talk about things that we'd like to see, but we don't really see them. Hey, boy, where am I here? I'm going to have to get down here. Okay. Hey, the first thing I just wanted to say, hey, it is going to be Teacher Appreciation Week, and I think every week should be is people who know what teachers do certainly do appreciate them. But here's some interesting little articles. I went through a cute, a couple of the cute ones here, humorous ones and so forth, and it's interesting. The definition of a teacher is really a good one. So, uh, anyhow, just thought I'd throw that up there. Have to take a look at that. Now, Roger and I have been talking about browsers, internet browsers, and it seems like, I think we have been, and right now you're viewing the Chrome browser, okay? That's what I have been using for quite some time, and I think you too, Raj, right?
Yeah.
And when, some time ago we talked about Edge and the fact that Microsoft is really doing some good work with Edge and has added some new things. And the last browser that we used, Firefox, had kind of gotten lost in the race, we thought. But I just ran across an article here, right here, make it easy, Firefox tips that make it easy to switch from Chrome. And this, author, said, whoa, he was very, very interested in it. So what I thought was, hey, I'm going to go there, take a look, see what it is, see what's happening. So what I did was, now you're looking at Firefox. This is the Firefox browser. Okay? This is the same article. I just put it up. And there are some pretty cool things in it. And what's nice about it is, well, before I get started, you can customize it to suit yourself pretty easily. We talk about on Chrome about apps and extensions, and you can add those. I'm not going to go into it heavily tonight, just going to kind of give you a brief overview. But you can customize this very easily. I got to start. Right here is the start the new page. I'm just going to click on that, or new tab. So I have a new tab here. And what I want to do, I'm going to go to here, toolbars, customize, and this is in that article if you need it. And see these little gadgets here, these little tools and things? You might want to take some of these and add them up here to the right or even in here. And they're nice to have them where you want them. For example, what I did was I have added this downloads. If you don't want it, you can just drag it back here. See how easy it is? Okay? But I like it up there. I want that. I want to see my downloads, the stuff I've downloaded, Okay. I've put in one that will show me a full screen. I'll show you that in a bit. Here's one for a new window. I'm not sure I really need that, so I'm just going to drag that out because I can push that little plus here. The one that I do like, the zoom control, I'm just going to put that up here because what you can do with that, again, is you can't do it now because I'm in this mode, but I'll show it to you when I get into back into one of the other tabs. And new private window. I'm going to pull that over here and put it here. Okay. So that's customizing. You can see some of the other things that you may or may not need, but it's really good. I also put, the print. This is nice because you don't have to go looking through file, print, so forth. Makes it a lot easier. Now, I'm going to close that off. I'm just going to go back to, let me go back to, this is MSN, okay? And this will show some of the new little updates that you might want to get. I don't want to do that right now. No, thank you. Get started. Okay. I'm not so sure. I need an article, so I'm going to have to try to find an article. I had one. Okay. There it is. Okay. I think this is something we all ought to consider. Okay. What's cool about this is we have this article here, and I know it's kind of weird, but you notice that in the article you have all the stuff around it, the ads and so forth. They have made it very easy to clear up in Firefox. There's a little tab there, boom, and all of a sudden you have it in a nice reader view. Yes, the other ones do it, but I think this is a little easier. And this one has something else. Raj, this is going to remind you of Immersive Reader. Over here on the left, this kind of looks like the Immersive Reader, doesn't it? You can do this. You can change the font. You can make it bigger or smaller. Okay? This is pretty cool. It's, spread it out, so forth and so on. So if you want to show it in class, and you're going to say, hold a second, but it doesn't read like the Immersive. Yes, it does. Right here, there it is, basically the same as the Immersive Reader. That's, to me, that's pretty good. Okay, so I I kind of like that. To get out of that back into the normal one, you can just click on that again and it'll take you back to your regular size page. Okay? Now, oh, I forgot to show you that this is like full screen. If you wanted to show something full screen, you could just click on that and that'll do it. Also, while we're here, we mentioned that when we were customizing, we put the plus and minus up here. See, you can make it bigger and smaller just by using this. Much easier. They also have a few little cool things that you can do with it, built right into it. Raj and I talk about, you know, the little tools down here, snipping tool and the other tools that you can then do get a picture off the screen. Well, it has it built in. Notice here, take a screenshot. Okay, and then this is, you can, okay, we want that picture. Okay, I just highlighted that, and then you can save it, download it, copy it, do whatever you want with it. Built right in. That's kind of cool. One other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, I don't know if I'd use it or not, was the fact that it says send tab to device. If you have the Firefox browser, I have Apple devices. I put it on my iPad. I put it on my phone. I can click on this, all right, and it will say, oops, I'm sorry, let me do that again. I was moving something out of the way and lost it. See? It'll either send it to my other computer, it'll send it to my new iPad Pro, or send it to my phone. And when I go there and open Firefox, it'll give me a little notification that I sent this particular article. So if you're working on an article and you want to take it and send it, you can send it to another device that way too. One last thing that I'd like to show you, and I know we've been talking a great deal about curating, when we're collecting things and how we can collect them, and he's shown you some really, really great ways. Firefox has built into it a fairly simple thing that might be good for students, like if they're doing research. If they are doing some research, let me just go again and do this. And then I'll show you exactly how. Okay, this is just an article about the Kentucky Derby. I didn't lose any money on it, but anyhow. And you say, you're doing some research. Hey, I need that article. Up here, built in, is a thing called Pocket. Okay? And you can create a Pocket, and it's very easy to do, and I have on my page of websites how you can get there, and it's also on that web page, but you can create a Pocket. And I think, now, this is what my Pocket looks like. If you go here, you can go here, and then you can always click on View List, and it will open your Pocket. Okay, and there is the article that I just saved. It would make it really easy for students who are saving, doing research and saving things to collect them. So, again, it's not as professional or as advanced as some of the things that Raj sent you, but boy, it's a cool little thing, and you can set it up, and you can set it up on your other devices too. There is an app for Android and an app for Apple devices. So if you want, you can put it on there, and you can put, for example, let's see, I have some, I saved 2 images just to show you that I could save an image. If I went to my phone or my iPad and I went into my Pocket, that would be accessible there too. So that's their way of collecting, curating things just as well. So I'm not sure I'm convinced that I want to switch over to Firefox now, but I'm going to keep it, and it's another tool that you might want to use for certain things. Okay, so Firefox. All right. Raj, you want me to keep going? You want to take over for a while?
Well, I can add to a couple things here.
Oh, well, then please do.
And then I'll...
Oops, what did I... Oh, by the way, there's a Pocket sign up right there. So there is a getpocket.com. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you giving me the screen?
Do you want the screen? Okay, let me...
I thought that's where we were headed.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you were just going to talk or what, but yeah, hang on here.
I am going to do that, yes.
Yeah, but I didn't... Okay. There you go. You should have it.
Okay. I'm going to do something real quick since you mentioned Pocket. Let's go to, I want to go to our friend here.
Yeah.
And where did I go here? I had it closed down. Now I'm, oh, there we are. Okay.
There you are.
So let's close that. Go to what I'm finding with my Pocket. I have a collection right here.
Oh, yes.
A bunch of curation tools. I'll open the whole thing up.
Yeah.
But there's my Pocket.
Yeah.
And I use it pretty much exclusively on my, my phone is in my hand. I turned it, that's why it flipped on me. One of the, it's not 100%, but it's 99%, is when you say you're browsing, and I do this, and I think you do it as well, a lot on our portable devices, or mainly for me, my phone. But what I find is when I go, see this little symbol here? This will turn just about any, I'm going to click on it. That was how to make. Okay, I'm going to open that up. And then if I click on the headset, which is now at the bottom of the screen, it turns an article into pretty much a podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll, so if you're, and I'm going to show you those in a second, a collector of podcasts. This is, and I'm pushing this to a lot of students who, teachers as well, obviously. Everywhere you look, people are looking at their phones. But if you're, a part of you is collecting things for, or curating, as the word is now, for professional development, articles of interest, and so on. This is a real quick way to kind of get around the subscription program for your podcasts, of which there are many. But this will actually read the text of the article, and it's pretty good. That voice, the text to voice, is getting a lot better anymore, and I find this very useful. I want my grandsons to start using it as a quick, and notice here you can change the speed of it. We know that you can listen at a faster rate than normal speech pattern, the same that you can in the immersive reader when we are looking at that. And even with podcasts, you can bump up the speed 1.5, maybe 2 times. It's still very legible, understandable, if that's a better term than that. But again, it will take a lot of basically text-based articles that you come across and you're reading, either on, like we do with our Flipboards, with a number of things, which I find pretty cool as well. And then, of course, there's your podcasts. I use just I don't use the Apple subscriber anymore, but I use it's just called podcasts, and all of the ones that I subscribe to, it gives me a nice little icon base that I can search through and look at some of my favorite ones and keep up with them and so on. But this is the one that I'm headed towards right now. It's a podcast. It's actually called Class Tech Tips. I'm going to show it to you up here on the screen shortly. But there is a really interesting topic that I came across about last week sometime. In fact, it's the subject of our handout tonight. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, Gene.
No, I did not.
It's called Getting Started with Virtual Reality, but it basically talks about, and it's about a 17-page handout, so, print it out in the school if you want. I double-sided it, and it's substantial, but it's an excellent resource. And it talks about getting started with virtual reality without headsets. You don't need the $100 or that whole head gear thing to participate in virtual reality. And it's something that you can bring to your classrooms. You can do some of this on your classroom smartboard. You can visit some of the sites, and they're all listed in this handout. And but what I strongly recommend is if in this, let me see if I can find it. It's a subject of a podcast that, because this let me minimize that. The website, I got to move my dashboard over here. EdTech Tools is the website. Let me give myself a little more access here. EdTech Tools and blogs. She has a whole bunch of stuff, and one of them is the actual handout that I have uploaded for you already. You can just simply sign in and get it, download it to your school email, print it out there. I kind of saved you a little time by doing that. But if we go into, and I signed up for her for newsletters and things. I came across her a while ago, but I never paid close attention until I actually saw the using virtual reality without a headset. Let me bring this back up here. This is the, you won't hear it, of course, but this is the podcast itself. Notice it's playing now, but it's on my phone, so you're not going to hear it. But that would be a very good introduction. I don't know. Are you hearing that, Gene?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I was getting it in my headset. I thought maybe everybody was.
Oh, I was. That would have been nice, but no, I'm not hearing it.
This would be a good introduction to the whole topic, and then go to I would say download tonight when you have a minute or two, or Gene, you can put these in the notes as well. If you just download the PDF, it's it's a nice resource. It gives you a whole lot of information on and some websites to go to, a National Geographic website. There's several that she names that are worth going to, that you can actually show on your smartboard in your classroom, and the kids could do it on if they have the touch devices, or actually even probably on whatever device they're using in class, or their tablets if they went to it. Little classroom management issue here, because the kids are going to be holding their devices and turning around and looking at the different sites. There's one that I had up this week that was a museum site. It's on National Geographic, or if you go to YouTube, National Geographic 360, you can see some of them. Let me see if I can bring that up without too many issues here, which is, there we go. There we go. This should go right to the site, so you'll know what it looks like when you see it. These are the key indicators here. The 360 device here, or indication here, that you can scroll 360 degrees and so on. You've probably seen some of these. This is kind of clever, but let's take a quick look at this and see what happens. And I'm just using my mouse on this. You won't hear the sound, but
A little bit.
I'm scrolling with, I think if you have a touch screen, I'm moving it all around with that. But again, I think the kids might get a kick out of it, and there's some reference to using it in, let's say if you're doing a study of in nature for animal habitats and things, you can involve some of those. This is the hammerhead shark we saw, but there's a whole list of 360, and this is the National Geographic. Here is the search term, 360 virtual reality. That's what VR stands for. And this is just one of a couple of sites that you mentioned. There's the standard one that kids just love. It's a roller coaster ride. And they can, look around and do all things. They don't need the goggles. They don't need the glasses. They can do it right on their handheld device, or the device. The tablets we give them in the school are small enough to accommodate that. And I think we're getting near the end of there. Try something different. Take them on a virtual field trip to. This is a fantastic one, the Bryce Canyon National Geographic site. And it's not very long. You see, it's only 2 minutes, but some of the structures there, and it could lead to an easy writing assignment and so on, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go back to my phone here, if I can get it back up on the screen. There we go. I keep trying to use my mouse on the screen. I have to use.
Yeah.
I have to go back to my home screen here. Here's a really. We're talking about virtual reality. We're talking also about a similar term. It's here on the screen. It's augmented reality. This is I think it's a free app. Notice I have a ridiculous collection of apps here, but it's called Figment, Figment. It's called Figment, and I'll bring it up, and it's an app on my phone, and so now it's using my camera. This is live now, and it's looking at my Surface that we're using for tonight's webinar, and I think you can have a lot of fun. Kids could, well, it depends on the device, but if you have a smartphone and you're at school, and Gene, I think this is the best investment I've ever made in a paid app, is the 360.
Oh, yes.
The mirroring device.
Oh, yes.
This would work. All you have to do is be on the same Wi-Fi network to make it work in class on your. If you're hooked up to your smart board, this is going to show up on your laptop, but then you can do all of these things with it. It's pretty cool. It's kind of, there's my hand, but I'm going to pull up one of these virtual reality characters here, and now he's dancing on my keyboard. And you notice across the screen here, there's a whole lot of, I could do a lot of things. I could pick a bunch of characters. I can look around. Where did he go? He's got a life of his own here. I'm just using a pinch to enlarge it and so on, move them around. There's a feature here. I really can't. It doesn't present itself very well on what we're doing here. But I tap this little button here, and it brings up. You'll notice these are actual portals. I don't know how many there are. If you click on the portal, this is going to get a little freaky. I can make it larger. This is an underwater, and then if I was able to walk into it, I had my grandchildren playing with this. You could actually walk through this portal and then do a 360 all the way around. Not sure how this would work in a classroom, but it's something, say you as a teacher could have some fun with your students as well to mess around with it. And again, you don't need the $100 goggles. If you really want to get into this, you could do the Google Cardboard goggles, but you need a headset or a smart device to really take advantage of that. But notice now I had my kids, grandchildren walking through. They had trouble getting back once they went into it. Pretty funny watching them figure out what the heck is going on with this. But we got the virtual reality, and in the handout, all of the sites are listed, all the suggestions, some topics, some things. They call it, virtual reality wanderings or some observations. And if you do this with your students, you could create a little guide for them on, what did you see, what did you hear and see, what time of, a whole lot of kind of inquiry type questions that you could use for this. The district, I think some of the STEM labs have, some of our STEM teachers and our tech integrator is going around visiting classrooms with some of these devices to give you the full immersive experience of working with the virtual reality headsets and so on. And it's pretty exciting. I did have a conversation last week about Skype in the classroom, and it's something that is going to be pursued and tested out. It basically is built in. And if you're doing anything on the internet the last couple of weeks with Earth Day and so on, there was a special Skype interview with Jane Goodall, which was done live, and then I think you can get it on Microsoft, an on-demand viewing of it. But it's got a lot of possibilities. They're talking to authors. They're talking to fields. Mystery Skype was big for a while. But this is something I think we want to take a close look at within your curriculum, whether it happens to be social studies or science or anything topical, just building up to a writing assignment. We can take the kids on a virtual tour of just about anywhere in the world. Again, I strongly recommend, as we would with anything on YouTube, of course, preview it, bookmark it, and so the kids don't go anywhere else. But if you control it with your smartboard, that obviously wouldn't be an issue itself. I want to come back to, here is one of my last couple of favorites. I'd say I really like the EdTech blog. That's this one. It's called ClassTechTips.com, and she's got the blog, she's got the podcast, a whole number of resources and things that I think are worth your attention. But then I go to, I came across this last week sometime. The Cult of Pedagogy is also, first of all, it's a blog, but then it's a terrific collection of podcasts. And there's one that I came across where it is down at the bottom here, I think. Yeah, had to do with packets and worksheets and so on. And it made some pretty interesting points, I thought. Here it is. This is it's about a 40-minute podcast, but it talks about worksheets, it talks about packets, it talks about and it makes, I think, some strong and interesting observations about where we've probably all come from over the years, that you might want to take a look at this. I'll take a listen to it. But in her the Cult of Pedagogy, we go to the blog. This is the podcast, of course, but on her blog, she has a number of resources. I think we pointed one out in a couple of previous webinars, and she, very timely. I follow her on Twitter, which is where I came across a number of her resources and her very top index of topics. Here we go. And these are all fairly recent, within the last year or so, but they are topical, and just here they're all indexed for you. But in the coming months, we know that we're winding up the webinars very soon, and then you're going to be on your own for the summer, adding to your professional development. And one of the latest thing we talked a couple of weeks ago about the 5th C, from creative thinking and communication, collaboration. So on the 5th one, and Gene mentioned it tonight, that somewhere in Firefox there's a way to collect things. We're talking way beyond bookmarks. You've all got your bookmarks. They're all over the place. I've got I don't get rid of them. I do get rid of my emails, but I don't get rid of my bookmarks, and sometimes they time out and so on. But this is one way of curating. Another way is on Twitter. You can bookmark some of the people that you're following for favorite ed tech advice or information and so on. But one of the most recent additions, and you'll see it up here in my toolbar, this is an add-on for a recent program gaining a lot of attention called Wakelet. And it's been incorporated into Microsoft. They've made some connections with Microsoft and OneNote, where you can send things directly into your OneNote notebook. You can send things in and collect them here, where you can also share them. I want to show you. This is my Wakelet, and I have collections. And if let's say I can edit my collections, this will just bring them up. I hope it'll show you how I've been collecting them. And it lets you personalize it, with an image in the back if you want to share it. It's also somewhat sociable. You could have a class Wakelet and collect it. Kids collect information. They can contribute if they're doing a habitat project or doing any kind of research. What they find online and searching could be collected and sent off to maybe a class collection, or if they're doing a group project and so on. I noticed this, Gene, earlier on a screen.
I was looking at that.
It's again this guy, Mike Paulson. He works for Microsoft, and he's the head guru, the point person. He's the one who actually was the team leader that came up with the immersive reader, with what originally started out as something called the learning tools. Mm-hmm. And they've just been adding to that almost daily with new features, new functionality, and so on. Yeah. This is a little video. It shows you how that you can use a tool within your Microsoft. This is obviously Microsoft Word, and you can use it and create you have a document already, you can create a sway. I think we may have talked.
We did talk about that, but this was not the online version. I think maybe this is now you can.
They're
do it online.
merging everything.
Yeah.
And this is just a little video. It shows you how to do it, and then there are some links built into it. But this is one of my collections in Wakelet. I've kind of fallen off the Flipboard, using that to collect things as much as, although I use it as an aggregator. It reads a lot of the stuff I want. This is about Microsoft learning tools and so on. I want to go back. So I just threw this image on late today. I feel like I'm attacking windmills. If you could see behind it, you'd see it's Don Quixote. But you can make your Wakelets. You can make it shareable. You can keep them private up until just the last day or two. I have kept them all private. I want to take another look at them, and I want to pursue the social aspect of it. Here is the Cult of Pedagogy, which I just showed you over here. Some of those articles I pushed out into my Wakelet collection as well. Not here's that one I just talked about packets and worksheets and so on. And I've been putting them in here just so I could get a handle on them and see, okay, what do I want to do next with them? And this I mentioned a little while ago, that this is an extension built into my Chrome browser. But if I click on this, I can look at my collection here, all my collections, and you can do some things functionally with the Wakelet. You can make it automatically start up. These are the various collections. I've created these topics, and as I come across things, either it's a blog or a tweet, I can put them into a collection here. Now this is all about the 5th C, since we started talking about that a month or so ago. I want to view the collection. Let's see if I can get it going here. Because it's live, it's all online.
Sorry.
Okay. You're forgiven. These are all these are all linkable within the collection itself. I want to go back. We've talked about that. In fact, here is a whole article resource devoted to using Wakelet as a collection point. And it's for, again, I mentioned students can use it, you can use it. I think you would start with yourself, of course, doing it and getting familiar with it. And this is also linked to a podcast, and you can learn a lot about using all of these collection tools. But at some point, they have to be manageable. Otherwise, it looks like my other bookmarks. Look at these; they're ridiculous. I don't want those anymore. They're there, but I've lost the ability to manage them and so on. So just because they've taken over like the blob, I guess. One last thing, Gene, I wanted to show. I wanted to go back to this. This is my back on my iPhone here.
You like that?
Let me go.
That is.
Oh, I love it.
I do. I think it's very useful. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I think we found it a couple of years ago when we were searching for ways to put things on smart boards.
It wasn't very good, though.
Yeah, and it's
quantum. It was tricky. This was, I think, I paid like $10 or $11 for it, one installation. But so it's on my. I haven't tried to install it on my school district laptop because I think it's supposed to be limited 1-to-1.
Yeah,
like each device. But
it will install on several, however. I didn't say that.
We'll find that out. I'm going into my Twitter account real quick.
Okay.
Just again, you can access your Twitter account on your desktop as well. But here's our buddy Mike Tholfsen, the fellow from Microsoft. But if I want, let's say, you know what? This looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. At the bottom of every tweet, there are some options down here. Obviously, you can retweet it. You can just like it. I do like it. But I can send it. If I click on this little universal symbol now for sharing it, I have a couple options. I can send it right to you, Gene, as a direct message if it's something I can't wait for you to see. I can add it to Twitter collection of bookmarks, or I can share it. And that brings up, here's my Pocket. We talked about that. I could send it into there. This is one of the things that doesn't translate very well into text to voice. But here I can send it to, notice down here at the end, I can send it to OneNote. I can send it to a specific page in OneNote. I can send it to like a folder in OneNote and to a page, or I can send it to my Wakelet, and now it's going to bring up what we were just looking at on my computer screen. Here are a list of all of my collections. Now that's Mike Tolfson, that has to do with OneNote and Microsoft, more specifically OneNote. I'll put it in OneNote. Notice the option comes up here. It reminds me, okay, you're sending it to OneNote and Teams. What do you want to do with it? I'm going to save it, and it will put it into the collection. So if we go back and look at my collection on my computer or any of the devices that I have Wakelet on, it's going to be there. So I think the buzzword for the summer months and your professional learning networks is going to be using Wakelet, using a tool that helps you collect and manage your information going forward. And we don't know yet what the summer is going to look like professional development wise. We've got an inkling that there's going to be a whole lot going on related to some curriculum stuff and things, but down near the end, I don't really want to think about that. You'll be seeing some options here for maybe getting together when we can all get together, either via webinar, but better probably in a room when we can do all of this stuff and kind of pull it all together heading into another school year as we close out this one. Gene, that's about, I've exhausted, I think, all of my tabs here.
Well, and again, it's very important. I was just reading today that.
Well, that's good. That's good.
That other place called Pinterest that is.
Here, I'm just sending you the screen back.
I got it. That is fairly popular. There are 500,000 educational articles and bits and pieces saved each day on Pinterest. So people are saving things. I think they do have to get them, figure out which way you want to organize them. And I think some of the suggestions that you're making, and maybe we ought to offer some classes during the summer on how to do this, are a lot more efficient and a lot more organized than, say, like Pinterest and things like that. But it was incredible just to see that all of these articles are out there and being saved and collected and so forth. Hey, something very simple, but I wonder, let me see if I can get this. That is a PowerPoint show that I made 10 years ago. Okay?
She hasn't aged a bit.
She hasn't aged. But anyhow, this is basically, it's a, when certain schools used to do what they called them books of the month or whatever, and they would put them on a PowerPoint show and show them in the auditorium to the kids and read them, so forth. But anyhow, I just saw something, and it reminded me that we've never really talked about them. We talk about the ribbon a lot and all of these things that are on the ribbon, right? But there are some very useful little things down below. And they're down in the lower right-hand corner. I hope you can see it down here. And they can be very, very useful. For example, just to show you, it makes it a lot easier than going up here, slideshow, we'll show you some things. This is the normal view right there, okay? Let me go back here to the author, see if I can get back. There she is. If you want, you can click here on notes, and if you had something, to say, or you want to make little notes about your show or whatever, you can do that so that when you print, if you need to print out like a guide to what you're going to say and present, you can have your little notes there. You can put in some notes, and each time you go to a new slide, you can add notes right in there. You can always get rid of it, again, just that does that. One nice thing is, you get all these slides together and then you say, uh-oh, I got to organize them. I'm sure many of you know this, but you might not. Right here, if you click here, you get the slides view and you can organize them. I put in a black one, a dark one, just to show you that you can then just, organize slides in any which way you want. Okay. But again, this is another little thing down here. One of the things that I liked about it too was this view. This is called the read view. They don't want to see that slide, of course. And when you do that, let me just click to the next slide. You have a forward and a backward, so if you were reading the book, you could do that. Okay? Also down here is a full screen. Now it takes you to the beginning of the show again, but if you click on that, you are now doing it full screen. This might make it very easy to present your slides if you're doing it. And in this case, it would, it's really easy. When you're done, just end the show and it takes you back to wherever you are. But these little guys down below are pretty useful. Okay? Take a look at those. Just thought I'd throw that out there for a minute or two in case you didn't see them before. And, Raj was talking about some things that you might want to try. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to be able to go into this. Maybe next week. Saw a really cool article here. And I always got to go back to one here. For some reason, it always comes up on the fifth one. It's a Microsoft little slide presentation and it deals with using your touch screen. I don't know, I have the Surface Pro, we have the school one, but how much do we use it? And how can we, do things very quickly? And this show has a couple of tips, like to make quick changes, you slide right to left. Okay? This opens up your Action Center. Did you know your Action Center, what the Action Center is? And it has a number of things that you can do. You can get to your settings and you can get to the airplane mode. You can do a whole bunch of things here. Actually, you can do a screen snip from there too. But that's the control center. But I just clicked off and got rid of that show. But that show has a lot of great little articles that you might want to take a look at. Okay, again, now Raj was talking about some ideas, and I put this here for you to go. There is a place where you can go and download this. This is a site that you might want to take a look at, Wasabi, and it is has some really great articles, programs, and so forth. But one of the things that they're offering free is, you have to click on it. They are offering, and it's a really cool download. It's a 10 inquiry-based, or inquiry, however you wish to pronounce it, based learning activities for your classroom. And there's some really great activities there. And again, I'm looking at the clock. We don't really have time to go through these. Maybe next week we'll take a look at. But why not go there? All you got to do is put in your name and enroll in education, and you can download it. And it's got some really good activity. If you're looking for something to do toward the end of the year, where the kids can get involved in their own learning and making their own choices and making their own decision, doing some self-learning, this is some, has some great ideas that you can take and adapt to, various levels. Okay, just again, just wanted to get through. Hey, remember a couple? Seems like forever ago, we talked about WebQuest, and I got a couple of comments about WebQuest on the survey. So I saw this article, and I just thought I'd throw it out there. And if you are interested in WebQuests, this is a 9 surprising way to use WebQuest in the classroom. And it was put up almost about a year ago, but it's kind of cool. It has some really good ideas. And again, there's the classic, and it shows, it goes through a couple of things that you might want to do. And again, toward the end of the year, this might be something that you might want to take a look at and set up. It would be fun for the kids, very active learning, and again, a great idea, to clean, to fix up the year with. Hey, I ran into two things this week. One of them is a university. I believe the University of Wisconsin, that has posted any number of downloadable rubrics. Rubrics, great for, first, showing students what our expectations for the learning or the goals for the learning are, what they're expected to achieve. And also for the, in the evaluation, maybe for their self-evaluation that they can use too. But if you go down here, my goodness, they have any number present. I'm just going through these are various types of rubrics for primary grades. Okay, kindergarten writing, again, rubrics that you might be able to use. And also, I don't remember if you remember this one, Raj, Rubistar, from how many years ago?
Yeah, a long time ago.
It's still in here. And you can, if you're, into building rubrics, or, you can go in and get your own, build them. But again, rubrics, are really an important part, of a learning process. And this really has some really great ones here. Again, Twitter rubric. I just saw that one, Raj. I'm going to have to go back and check it. And if you can't find the one you want there, this is another quick site called Quick Rubric that is fairly simple. You can just go in, put in what you want, your criteria, your points, and it will then allow you to download it. You can add columns, you can add rows to make it, to make it more involved if you need. And then you can create your own account. I think I've created an account, so I'm probably there, and then you can save it. But anyhow, there's some things there. Again, recommend that what you do is, Raj, we're still putting things up on the Flipboards on the Personal Learning Network, and hopefully you'll go there. As we come toward the end of the year, I'm running into some things, activities and so forth you can use for the end of the year, so you might want to go there and check out those as well. And with that, I think we've come to the end of the time, and I'm sorry for rushing through that, but I just wanted to get some things through just to show you. Hopefully, if you are interested in that, in a day or two, on the Teacher Resource Center page, we will have a page where we put the recordings, and I will put the sites there, links to the sites. So if you are interested in going to any of those sites, you certainly can go there and get that. Don't forget, Raj, now that you mention it, I did download that PDF that you have here. Don't forget to do that. And if it's, I'll check it out. Do you think if it's in the public domain or common, Creative Commons, we might be able to download it and put it on the site with the proper?
I think we could just put the link to it.
Or that's a good thing. Yeah, that's probably.
Then you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, then we don't have to worry. But we'll put a link to it so you can get that in case you didn't get it tonight, because I'm hearing the 9 o'clock chimes in my living room. So it's 9 o'clock. We want to thank you for joining us. I know next week is Mother's Day, and I unthinkingly scheduled a webinar for that. We will, and Raj and I will talk about it, but I'll probably be here. I don't know, Raj, and I understand that, that things come up. So we'll let you know what's going on with next week. But the 19th, don't forget, Mr. Laurie, don't forget the survey in the thank you coming up. And thanks again. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, have a great week. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, so
Yes.
Appreciate yourselves at the very least.
You deserve.
You are appreciated, and not nearly well enough.
I'm thinking that we need to do that a lot more. And with that, we'll say good night. Have a great week, everybody.
Yes. Good night, all.